Your brain is like a forest path. The first time you walk through, the trees are thick, the route is hard to find. But every time you return to that same path, it becomes clearer. And that's exactly how revision works. Let me show you the two things that make that path impossible to forget. Let's start with the harsh truth here. Reading your notes over and over again feels productive. It feels like you're learning, and it's probably what I did as a teenager as well. But your brain isn't storing things that way. Research shows that passive reading leads to only a tiny bit of retention after 24 hours. It's why you can read the same page over and over and still blank out in the exam. Think about the difference between watching someone play a video game and then picking up the controller yourself. Watching feels easy. You can see exactly what to do. But the moment you pick up the controller, your hands forget. Your brain never actually learnt the movements because it wasn't forced to recall them. The key insight here is this: your brain only strengthens what it has to retrieve. If you just read, your brain doesn't have to retrieve anything. It's passive. And that's one of the things that we need to flip. Active recall is what we call it, and it's really simple. Instead of reading information, we need to force our brains to retrieve it from memory. Every time that your brain has to dig for an answer, it strengthens that memory pathway. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Now, imagine you're walking through that forest again. The first time you're struggling through dense trees and you're uncertain of the route. But each time that you're actively navigating, choosing which way to go, and remembering landmarks, remembering the route you've taken, you're carving the path deeper. Your brain is doing the work. And by the 10th time or so, the path is so clear you can walk it with your eyes closed. There are studies out there that show that students using active recall methods score higher on exams compared to students who use passive reviews. That's not a small difference. That's going to be a big difference. That's the difference between a pass and a fail, or even between a good grade and an exceptional grade. And here's how to implement it. Okay, all of those revision tools, we're going to use them actively. We're going to use flashcards, but we're going to cover the answer and force ourselves to remember it first. We're going to use practice questions, but we're going to close the book and try to answer without looking first. We're going to do brain dumps. Write down everything you can remember about a topic without checking your notes. Then check your answers. That struggle of remembrance, that's where the learning happens. And the discomfort that you feel when you can't immediately remember something, it's actually a good sign. That's your brain strengthening. It's working harder. So ask yourself, which method are you currently using? Passive reading or active recall? And let's be true. Let's be honest with ourselves on this one. Here's principle number 2. Active recall alone isn't enough. Timing matters, just like comedy. This is where spaced learning comes in. Your brain actually needs to forget a little bit and then remember again. That cycle of forgetting and retrieving is what creates long-term memory. Back to the forest path again. If you walk it once a day for a week, the path stays clear. But if you walk it once, abandon it for 3 weeks, the forest starts to reclaim it a bit. Weeds grow, leaves fall, and then when you return, you have to work harder to find the way. Your brain has to strain to retrieve what it once knew. It's that active recall happening again. It's harder to remember, so when you do remember it, that path becomes even more permanent than before. That struggle to remember is the magic. Now, there's a bit of neuroscience here. It's called the forgetting curve. It's a psychologist called Herman Ebbinghaus, and it shows that we forget information over time. Now, if you review the information at strategic intervals, time it well, 1 day, 3 days, a week, then you can retain a lot more information. The spacing forces your brain to work harder, and that effort creates stronger memories. So here's a sort of a practical framework for you. Revise something new, then revisit it the next day. Then revisit it 3 days, then after a week. Then leave it another week and do it in 2 weeks' time. You're not spending any more time studying. You're studying the same amount, but you're just spreading it out. Your brain does the heavy lifting during those gaps. Now, so many students cram the night before an exam because they don't understand that spaced learning. They walk the path once, intensely, and expect it to stay. But that's not the way that the brain works. The path fades, and spacing prevents that fade from happening. So let's mix those two together, combining them for the best effect. Okay? They're not separate strategies, they're the same thing. They work together. Active recall is the tool, spaced learning is the schedule when you use the tool. This system works because it respects how your brain actually works. You're not fighting biology, you're working with it. So, here's the suggestion: start implementing that active recall today. Choose one topic area and create a set of flashcards or do some practice questions. Don't just read it, force yourself to remember. Then start to map out that schedule using that spaced learning. Write down when you're going to review each topic. Make it visible, stick it somewhere in front of you. Okay, remember, the path through the forest only becomes clear when you walk it deliberately, repeatedly, with space between each journey. Your brain is capable of so much, but only if you can revise the right way. So, I'd like you to let me know in the comments what topic you're going to try and recall first. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about how to revise, then I have a book, How to Revise. This one's for GCSE maths without all the panic. It goes into a bit more depth about active recall and spaced learning and how to use those revision techniques, as well as a few common mistakes from GCSE maths to watch out for. It's available on Amazon. Go search for it. And I look forward to my next video.